Welcome to Roger Dunn Santa Ana. In this video, we are going to dive into the Titleist brand new T-Series iron line. We have got John Webber. He's a Titleist product specialist and club fitter, here to help us guide through this fitting experience with Evan Michael from This Is Golf. Thank you for coming out, Evan.
Gentlemen, thank you for having me. Looking forward to it.
All right, well, we've got something really special today. Evan is just like the rest of you. He might have some clubs in the bag that need upgrading. We're talking about clubs from 1997, DCI Titleist Oversized Plus. We're going to put them head to head with 2025's best technology, the Titleist T-Series range. We're going to find out which iron's best, and we're going to do some fitting along the way to make sure they're dialed in perfectly. Let's get into it. This is a real fit-in. We want you to get in the comments, tell us exactly what you think about the fit-in experience, the Titleist irons, which one you think you're going to play. Evan, just like any fit-in in here, we're going to take you through the full experience. We're going to start off by getting some baseline information with your DCIs, and we're going to kind of quiz you as you go through exactly what you get with these irons right now.
Got a lot of history, I'll tell you that much.
All right. Tell us your little snippet before you get going. What are these irons famous for you?
Yes, so it's wild to think this. I'm in my early 40s now, but these were the first set of clubs that I had when I became a high school competitive player. So we're going back to 96, 97 here. They were a gift from my dad to graduate into, buddy, you're gonna take golf seriously now. Took it so seriously, I haven't played a single club since.
It's commitment to the cause.
It is. And they helped, you know, they were great for high school golf and competitive golf for a few years afterwards. Won some cool tournaments with them, have great memories. I can still remember specific shots. This 7-iron, sorry, Leo Romanos, this is the one that beat you on the 8th hole for the club championship. I still remember that shot, about 160 out. So I don't know, you know, for me, it's like, I think of clubs and I think of the history and the memory. I can still play with them, but I am fascinated by how much my game could improve by truly, because these were high school clubs, graduating to the next level, you know?
Yeah. Well, this is really going to be a technological advancement, you know, 30 years of tech going into these irons. You are the epitome of a die-hard Titleist fan at this point.
Oh, so, yeah.
Let's take you through, let's get some baseline shots with yours and talk about what they do.
Yes, sir.
We've set this pin out at 160 and it looked like you might make a slam dunk straight out of the gate. All right.
Well, that's it for me. Good night, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
Pretty good stuff. So we'll start talking about, you know, John and I on the side here, a little bit about your data. Gives us like that launch point. We want to show the viewers here all of these new Titleist products, so we're not going to hold back. We're going to hit a bit of everything, but we also want to get you personally dialed, your swing, your stats, your land angle, everything perfect. So we'll make it relevant to you too. While Evan's hitting, give us a little rundown on T-Series. What are the 4 irons that we're going to run through today?
4 new irons in the T-Series. We have T100, 150, 250, and 350. Number of different changes made. 100s have now gotten 1 degree stronger. More of a response to the feedback we had on tour with not only the LPGA but the PGA as well. 1 degree stronger just gives us the ability to weaken that loft back to a traditional lofted T100 at 46 degrees by adding a degree of bounce on top of that. And also on the LPGA, one of the most popular irons we had for a number of years was the T100S because of the smaller blade length. So having that T100, the ability to go to a stronger lofted, 44 degree pitching wedge while having that smaller blade length is a really nice bonus. And then across the board, we've gotten stronger grooves, went from more of a V-shaped design to a more square groove design now to enhance spin, not only in scoring clubs, but also in the longer clubs, getting height, getting spin and stopping power.
So Titleist has been traditionally seen as for better players, but all of these technologies that are coming in, we've got the L face, we've got variable face thickness, we've got groove tech that you were talking about. Everything's kind of being built towards every golfer. And it sounds like that line T100 through T350 now, we've got every golfer covered.
4! Still the L4 in the bay, right?
We're not even going to delete that. Well, not yet anyway. We'll keep that one on here. And Evan is every golfer, right? So we've got technology here that's, looks like it's kind of a nice club head shape, nothing crazy going on. Golf shaft technology's come a long way too. These are kind of just really old, heavy, stiff golf shafts. So we've got the advantage of lighter weight material for him. And then a 34 degree 7-iron is what he's playing right now. That would be considered the same loft as last year's T100.
Correct. Now we're sitting at 33 degrees for a 7-iron and can still get it to where we need to at 34, but right now we're sitting at 33.
Awesome. One more, Evan, and we'll change you over.
You got it.
Didn't sound too bad to finish.
And, you know, for me, it's like, right, how many good shots can you hit in a row? Feels like one out of every 3 or one every 4 I'm really connecting with. But I've always loved these clubs because even my misses, they've been forgiving, so to speak. But I hear that with newer technology, it's even more forgiving, which is great if I'm not playing all the time and I'm playing maybe once or twice a month, to get out there and still be able to show up and compete and not have to, you know, maybe worry so much about I have to pure it every time. I mean, that's a win for me.
So in T100 this year, T150, T250, T350, even though they look like better players clubs, they've got split tungsten. And that's something you haven't got in your iron right now. So that's really going to add that dimension of forgiveness to these new, better looking clubs.
That's great.
Let's talk a little bit about your iron play right now.
Sure.
How far do you carry your 7-iron roughly?
You know, it's usually like my 160 to 165 shot.
Okay. Do you feel like you have good stopping power?
I do.
And what about your miss hit? Are you more worried about left to right misses or front to back miss?
More left to right misses, yeah.
And which one comes in more often?
The left to right.
Okay, the left to right, okay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, kind of that, I would call it the, if I don't like feel confident with the swing and I don't trust it, you kind of hit that little balloon fade.
And then do you know where you strike it in the face? Do you feel like you're high, low, toe, heel?
You know, it feels to me that I'm kind of middle low.
Yep.
If I'm really connecting with it, middle low. And then usually if I'm mishitting it, it's kind of, you know, off this area, maybe
Toe side there.
yeah, kind of towards the toe, a little bit higher up to the left.
Again, leaning on this new Titleist tech, every face has some sort of technology in it. Even from variable face technology, we've got L face, we've got multi-zone face. So all those miss hits, especially low, you're going to get more ball speed, more consistent spin numbers from those misses. So it's really exciting to see what you're going to get with this new line. Okay, well, let's start you at the bottom. Let's start at T100. I'm going to kind of work through the line. We'll talk about their tech as we go.
Okay.
You'll get to experience them, and then we'll really hone in on which one's yours, which one works the best. So first one out the gate, T100. We've got the AMT Silver Stiff in here for you. Matching it up to your club speed, mid-flight, mid-weight. It's kind of going to give us a baseline of new tech for you, and we'll be able to dial it in from there. Okay, first impressions. Tell us what you think.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it already feels, I don't even know if this is a correct golf term, but sturdier. You know what I mean? Like it feels like it's more secure. Maybe it's because it's a little heavier, but it feels like I'm also a little bit more balanced over it too. I'm not having to try as hard to like get in here, get comfortable. You know what I mean?
And what about the visual of the head? You know, there's a lot of changes from the size from yours to this.
Man, it's sleeker, right?
Yeah.
Which obviously screams, welcome to the modern world, buddy. But it's also, it's visually, I've always loved, you know, an iron that's thin as opposed to, you know, those big heads, because it helps me dial it in a little bit more. It helps me focus a little bit more on my alignment and to trust my swing, as opposed to, I've got a big club with a big head. I'm going to get away with it. I don't want to get away with it. I really want to hit a great shot. And I feel confident in hitting that great shot just based on the look.
You've also got kind of a shallow angle of attack, and this nice slim sole on this is going to be easier to kind of get through the turf, not ricochet too much off that ground.
That just sounded different.
It did sound
You know
different.
what I mean?
Yeah. All right. And you said you don't like the left to right shot. Do you prefer to draw it, or do you kind of like neutral?
I would, you know, if I'm really feeling confident with my swing, I do try to play a little bit of that draw because it's more controllable for me. The left to right is kind of the bailout. This felt like it was naturally going to do that for me. I'm not trying to have to like force it off my front foot. It's naturally going to go with my swing speed and tempo. I mean, that was like an effort. Go in.
A little heavy, but still come out pretty good.
Feels.
So your heavy one, you know, for people out there, lots of people fat the golf ball, right? And in this case, steep can mean fat a lot of the time, but you're not like that. You're shallow, so your club's kind of hitting the ground a little bit before the ball. So you're like that fine line of bounce and soul grind that's going to work to give you the best turf interaction.
You know, those 3 swings already were, if you know, what is it, like baseball players have a spray chart?
Yeah.
The older club, it was a little bit, there's 2 that way, 2 that way, 2 down the middle. These are all kind of within that same window, which is, I'm not used to seeing.
And we're really honing in, like that's one of our big things today.
Yeah.
We want dispersion, is what you're referencing. We want that to be really tight. We want your distance control from front to back to be really tight, and we want your land angle, your descent angle to be steep enough to stop the ball consistently on a green.
So I'm not hitting it and just having it skid right through.
Right, yeah. Distance is important for some golfers, but it's control of distance that's really important, and that is how steep that ball lands on the ground. Obviously, the more steep, the quicker it's going to stop. And there's a fine line between too much of that, but definitely most players sit on the other end of that scale where it lands shallow, kicks on, and you've got no control over where that ball finishes.
I'm glad you brought that up, because that to me is maybe something that's kept my game consistent and relevant, is the control aspect of it. And to think that I have been sacrificing perhaps even more control because I hadn't updated or upgraded yet.
And that's what fitting is all about, optimizing those three portions. We want you to hit it nice and long still, but we just want you to know exactly where it's going to finish up. So this iron's going to be considered like the better player out of the four. The smaller head profile, still very forgiving. Lots of tour players are going to put this in play, at least a version of this. They might blend it, and we may blend with you today. It suits your angle of attack with a shallow angle of attack. But tour players who generally might swing it up into that 90-mile-an-hour range, they can get away with a steeper angle of attack because they've got speed to get through the turf too. So as we move up the line, we're going to move towards players who might have steeper angle of attacks or not strike the face as consistently as somebody who plays this iron. But this doesn't look bad for you already.
Well, I feel confident with it, and that's, it's like, I always joke, can I pick my rental set? Like if I don't travel with my clubs and I get clubs from, a course, just certain, I look over and I just don't feel confident with them, and that's hard to go out and have a good time on the course if you don't feel confident with what's in your hand. I immediately felt confident with this, and to know that perhaps there's other options that will improve that for my style of play and game, I want to try those.
Okay, well let's try something different. So we're moving on to the T150. We're keeping the shaft the same. Look pretty good for consistency and spin. We might change that later. We made one adjustment to the lie angle. We put it a little upright to try and counter the lie angle that we're seeing on foresight. John, tell us a little bit about the player differences we might see between 100 players and 150 players.
Yeah, I think feel-wise, they're both going to be, softer side when it comes to feel, more of a fully forged design. Player-wise, I think the 100 is catered towards the better player, better ball striker. Not that you can't be a higher handicap and play that club if you've been fit properly. I think anybody can play that club. But when it comes to who they're catered to, it's going to be more of your tour-oriented design when it comes to how that club was built. And then the 150 being slightly stronger in loft with a slightly lower center of gravity, just going to help that player get the ball up in the air with a slightly wider sole, so a little bit more forgiveness off the face too.
Awesome. Well, let's put it to the test. Did you have any big visual changes looking down at that address?
Am I crazy to say it almost looks like it's not as open as much? Is that I don't even know how to describe it.
Okay. You could be looking at offset there. Slight offset change from the one.
Yeah, just maybe a little bit.
Yep.
I'm getting a little bit more of an open feel.
I think that's the one we kind of want to watch a little bit. That didn't sound perfect. We want to make sure that that doesn't drift too far off, doesn't lose a lot of ball speed.
Gotcha.
Pretty nice.
That's a little bit more like how I would hit a shot right there, that one, as opposed to the previous swing, which felt a little bit off of the toe. Jack, I think I caught that one a little fat. Is that what you'd call that? Fat? A little chunky?
A little chunky.
But it got there.
That's it. We want to see that, right? That's the distance control portion of this.
Right.
All right, like especially, low shots in the face, high shots in the face. We want to see that variable face thickness helping us out. That sounded a bit nice. Get there.
And that's something that I have 100% noticed, both with the 100 now the 150. I can never really tell with those DCIs based on the sound if it's that shot. Like a lot of times I'd hit it and I'd be surprised that it was short or long, though my aim was right there because I couldn't really tell if I made that solid contact. With these, it's like I know when I've pured it. I know this is going to be a good golf shot.
Yeah, better feedback.
Exactly.
Just make one little adjustment while we're midstream here.
Yep.
Let me just tweak that lie angle one more degree because your lie angle was kind of 4 degrees down and we gave you a more stable golf shaft. We moved it to 1 degree up and that's helped. Let's go 2 up and just see what that that gets us.
All right.
So we just made a simple lie angle adjustment using the SureFit system here. Basically, we want the club to get through the ground nice and squarely for both direction purposes and turf interaction purposes. So hopefully you hit this one straighter and more solid. Contact was good.
And it felt good. I was aiming a little bit left of the flag right there, which is good. I mean, if I hit it right where I'm aiming.
We've got some stuff to talk about after this one. That was great.
Okay.
Would you consider that similar to the miss hit you had earlier?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
But we got a little more out of that one. Didn't get drift as much to the right. Come on now. On camera.
That felt good.
Really nice.
Almost a gimme.
Okay. That kind of like, we're taking little baby steps as we go through here, just trying to refine the fitting as well. So it looks better upright. Whether it's 1 or 2, looks like 2 looks better to me. We've jumped in on a golf shaft. We still may adjust that, but it's time to take that next step. And John can kind of lean into this a little bit, but I kind of pair T100 and 150 for in like a certain player group, and they combo really well. And then I put T250 now and 350 in a group. But there's also a blend here between 150 and 250. What kind of player are we moving towards with the 250 head?
Yeah, I mean, if we're talking about blending, I think the player that may not have the confidence in their longer irons to not only strike them solid, but get them up in the air with the proper ball speed. You know, something we look at here is, like we talked about earlier, the 3 Ds, distance, dispersion, and descent angle. When you have a club that can help the ball not only produce more ball speed on a missed strike, but also get up in the air to land soft enough, it makes the game a lot easier on clubs that typically most people struggle with.
This T250 is going to be a change of visual, going away from that kind of traditional cavity back look, and we're going to this hollow body. People love the look of these things. They look like blades, but they've got tons of tech. Let's give it a go. So we're moving up to the T250. You already touched a little bit on it. It's got a lot more tech in it. Hopefully we see some happen on the golf course here. We're just off camera. We're kind of talking about your fitting experience. I think that's pretty important. Like, what do you think? Where were you, and what's this experience like for you?
Yeah. So where I was, it was, these are my clubs, and I need them to dictate, my game. I have to either play up to them or play down to them, because it's just what I have. And now it's this whole new world of the tech talking to me and being like, I don't have to change my game based on my club. These new clubs are going to help me improve my game and allow me to have success in my current swing, my current body, my current confidence, which I have more of.
Well, John, you do this day in and day out. What's your kind of answer to that?
Yeah, I mean, I was just telling Evan that when you buy clubs off the rack and go out and play golf, you naturally are going to make adjustments to the club. When you come in here and do a proper fitting with somebody that's trained to do so, I think that we make adjustments to the club to fit your game and make it so you don't have to try as hard out on the course, and it should react how it's supposed to. Obviously, we're still going to have missed strikes, but
yeah,
trying to make the game easier for everybody, make these clubs fit you a lot better.
If this is inspiring you to get a club fitting, jump in the comments, let us know. Head to worldwidegolf.com and book that fitting today. But for now, we're going to continue our fitting with Evan. Let's jump into the T250. And we really haven't been getting rid of any golf shots here right now. And we're kind of seeing this pattern in that dispersion chart. The 3 red ones were his original DCIs. They're kind of off the green down to the short right. And good, bad, and indifferent are all hitting the green here with every single Titleist model.
Yep. I think with new technology, you're going to see that even his misses are going to outperform his good strikes on his current irons.
And look at this one, carried backside of the green, but that reaction there as it hit the green is what we want to see, right? Bounce, hop, stop.
It's usually a good sign when they pick the club up and look at it. They did something right there.
And this groove technology here is not just going to help him from this shot, which is nice, clean off the fairway. Great strike, Evan. This is going to help him out of those, different lies, right? The rough is going to see noticeable differences.
Yeah, we talked about long irons, but I think most people, like you and me, are going to be finding the rough pretty often. So having some extra groove and extra strength out of those is going to help a lot.
I don't know what a fairway looks like. Evan's showing me a good time out here, though. I'm looking forward to reviewing this line with you, Evan. So we're going to get this is what fitting's about. It's like player feedback, fitter guidance, and blending those two things together so you get confidence and results on the golf course.
Yeah, now some have been a little left to right, but they've when I'm making contact and I'm coming through on the ball, I'm not, when you hit a shot and you go, it wasn't my best. when I'm hitting these, I'm still feeling like I make good contact. I'm not going to be mad if that shot's a little left to right.
As the clubs get bigger from front to back, bigger from heel to toe, we see lofts getting stronger, which means there's less loft on these clubs. And people think, oh, that's kind of just cheating. They're just trying to give me distance. But what these designers are really doing, they're getting the ball to fly through a good window still with that body size. So the thing that you saw, you said, okay, yeah, this is a little larger. The loft is a little stronger, but we're still getting that 51-degree descent angle. So the ball's got plenty of stopping power with that increased ball speed. And that's what allows you to play clubs like this with no trade-off for control, even though you might pick up what we're going to probably see as nearly a full club difference.
I'm not sacrificing anything by jumping up from the 150 to the 250. In fact, I might actually be improving my window.
Yes, yeah. Okay, now there is one more club left in the line, and now we've kind of gone through and interviewed you a little bit. This might not be the one that I would be picking out of the bag for you and saying, right, this is the club we should play. We should hit it to give the viewers an experience of what T350 is going to do on the golf course, and they can have an apples-to-apples comparison. But just know this might not be where we're taking you in the actual fitting.
That's okay, too, because I think, something that I didn't have in 96, 97, right when I started my journey with those Titleist DCIs, was the education, was the knowledge, was the fact that the tech can now talk and speak to me in a way that allows me to get up here, approach a shot, whether it's the perfect club for me or not, still be like, hey, it felt good, might not be my match, but I know it's going to be a match for someone.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that fittings at, Roger Dunn or any worldwide golf location is it's an experience. A fitting is an experience. It's not just a shopping procedure. It's something that you're going to enjoy going through. You're going to gain knowledge, and that then in turn gives you confidence when you get those golf clubs out on the golf course. Let's give you T350. Tell us the differences between T250 and T350.
So we're going to have a slightly wider sole here, a little bit more forgiveness off the face, slightly stronger in loft, but we're going to lower the center of gravity to help that ball get up in the air. Typical golfer that it's meant for, I would say, is going to be more of your beginner style golfer. Anybody that's dedicated to their game can play this iron. I don't think it's meant for somebody that is just starting golf. It could be played in any realm of the game, but typically catered to the person that needs a little extra help on the missed strikes, more ball speed on the missed strikes, and still likes that good player's style iron because it's gotten a lot slimmer this year.
Evan has still got 3-iron in the bag, which is kind of crazy. Do you play that much?
It is reserved for I don't know what else to hit type of shots. I've got plus 200. I've got a solid lie. I don't want to hit a wood, so then I'm going to kind of get up on my tippy toes and try to smooth it as best I can.
Okay, and you still play the 4-iron in the bag?
4-iron I use pretty regularly, especially on longer par 3s. 3-iron, the special shot as needed.
So this might be an opportunity with T350 to blend into that longer iron in the 4-iron kind of area.
Of course, yeah. I think that we're seeing a lot of feedback from our fittings that we've been doing lately that blended sets are more common than not, especially with the 350, with how good it feels off the face. We've even seen some tour players, Will Zalatoris, for example, is playing this in a 3-iron, and we've seen a lot of good feedback from how it feels on tour, and could help out a lot of other golfers too.
The feel has been exceptional, right? The feel has been exceptional on all of them, which to me is kind of incredible to have 4 different styles, but all still have a very confident feel to them. You know what I mean?
So for somebody watching this at home, and you look down at that club and you say, "Oh wow, this looks different." What really stood out?
So does that shot. That shot looks very different.
What was the standout? Was it the fact that it's longer from heel to toe, or is it more offset? Or what really popped your eye?
The look of it, sure, but then the width of the sole, the thickness of the head, even right around where the shaft connects to it.
Yeah,
that's a little bit thicker. It's not off-putting by any means. In fact, I think a lot of golfers, if you're just maybe you're at that I want my game to improve, but I don't want to sacrifice anything. You're going to look down and feel like, oh, I'm not going to hit a bad shot with this.
Yeah,
that's important.
That's what this club is, confidence inspiring for sure. And hopefully what this is going to demonstrate here, again, people are going to look at these loft charts and see, oh, T350 is super strong. But even for you who you're saying maybe this iron isn't perfect for, we're still seeing that land angle near 49 degrees. So it's stopping.
Yeah, and I don't know what it is, right? I'm still getting that sound. I'm not, maybe I'm not able to work it the way I was able to work the 150 and the 250, which for me is, that's a big deal. I want to be able to work my iron. I want to be able to almost shape it.
Yep. And that sometimes, especially for someone like yourself who's kind of shallow with angle of attack, sole size can change that. When the sole is kind of large, it skids across the surface for a longer period of time as such. So kind of stabilizes the club head, makes it not do as much, whereas thinner clubs from front to back and heel to toe allow you to not only get it through the ground quicker, but turn the face open and close more. So you have more workability, literally, with those smaller clubs.
You know, hitting this club ever make me feel like my game is suffering?
And we actually saw, other than you nearly hold that last one,
I'll take it.
a little trade-off, a little more set to the right for this.
For this one.
And we kept everything the same, all the variables, that length of that shaft, the flex, the lie angle that you set up in there. So it really was the head that changed that delivery contact. What we should do, John and I review some of the numbers, kind of go over and let everyone see what's really been happening in the background here. And then we're going to go back to what we think is correct for you and, verify it one more time.
I'm very curious. As someone who has not been through this process in 30 plus years, one, thank you, because it's both from an educational standpoint amazing, but from an experiential standpoint, so happy I did this. I encourage everybody to go do this because it'll not just change how you play the game, but how you think about the game, which is definitely one of the most important parts, that mental confidence of when you've got your clubs and you're out there on the course.
Well, jump in the comments, let us know what you think Evan's going to wind up with. We're going to wrap it up here and we'll see if you're right in a few moments' time. So we're going to walk you through some of the numbers and walk everyone through some of the numbers, find out, and we'll get your feedback because this is kind of an interesting one to complete the full set for you.
All right.
So looking at the data on the screen here, we've kept everything on screen so everyone can understand the difference between the set. The flight chart on the top left there, the blue line is the T250. Right, that's the highest flight, the longest carry out there. Obviously, that's going to stand out for us as something that we need.
Sure.
And then if we go to the right, we're looking at the dispersion charts, right? And we obviously want the straightest without trading off too much distance. So we're going to kind of get rid of the purple, which is the T350, and the silver, which is the T100, because the T350 sat good distance but too far right. T100 sat okay distance but a little left.
Gotcha.
So now we're left with 3 clubs on the chart. So we've got the red line as your own, the green line as T150, and then we've got the blue line as T250. And you can really see that separation of increase of height. We've picked up, peak height through the bag. We've picked up descent angle. We've picked up carry, and we've also got everything going pretty much straighter than where you started today. So looking into this, we can go to the table because it doesn't actually show us descent angle on this chart here, but that's one of the really important ones for us. We're looking at the average descent angle of about 49, 50 degrees.
50 degrees?
With the T250s, and I think it was pretty much identical. Yeah, half a degree different with the 150s, so with great stopping power between the two. John and I kind of talked a little off camera. Some of it was guided by your feedback. You said there was a little visual change when you went to that T250.
That's right.
Nothing that really put you off?
Nothing that put me off, just something that I had noticed going from those first two that reminded me a little bit of the OG type of the blades, almost like, the knife through butter, and then having a little bit of a thicker and wider sole on the 250. So
where do you think, and this is kind of a little bit open, but where do you feel you start losing confidence in your iron set? Going from 7 to 6 or 6 to 5, where is that?
I would say 7 to 6. I almost feel like my 5, I'm more confident with than my 6. You know what I mean?
It's the favorite club in the bag.
Right, and sometimes I'll even try to put a little bit extra into a 5 to avoid hitting a 4 or that really special 3 iron that almost looks clean. Might have been hit 3 times.
Yeah, so we picked up distance overall. We've picked up 12 yards of carry from 7 iron to 7 iron. DCI, oversized plus, 30 years on, T250. We've got 12 yards of carry difference. So now we talk about a 3 iron. It was a incremental increase from your 4, but we've kind of made that a wash by picking up all that yardage, right? So now 4 irons are the longest club you actually need in your bag to hit all those distances with extra height. But what we're thinking here is saying, okay, you like that workability. You've come from not been having super game improvement clubs for 30 years. We want
Right.
to keep some of that player style in your bag. So now what you've said will play you through to a 7-iron and a T150, and then do a 6, a 5, and a 4 in the T250 to give you that extra confidence, that extra height, that distance you need in those long irons. How does that sound?
That sounds like exactly where I should be, because that's where my game should be. It should be a little bit of the Evan that was the player that could hit those DCI pluses and could play really competitively and was proud of that. But now the Evan who is using what Titleist is giving me to improve my game and add to my game, that true blended experience. Because I think that's what my swing is right now. It's not one or the other. It's a combination of both.
And it's making the most out of every club in the bag. We don't want you to have a 4-iron collecting dust.
Yeah.
You know, we want you to be able to confidently pull it out, hit a green, stop it on a green, just as confident as you pull out a 7-iron and hit that 156-yard shot.
The wild part to me, you guys, is that, you know, and I was looking especially the red line right there, because the contact was solid on all those, but just the distance alone, you know, I gained 5 yards every decade. It was like, you know, just by improving that is a huge win for me. Getting those extra 10 yards, I mean, that's going to help me out. It's also going to help me with my tee boxes, what tees I'm going to play, how I'm going to select my clubs, how I'm going to feel like I can attack certain shots as opposed to just hope for certain shots. That's a big win.
Yeah, well, pulling essentially one club less out of the bag.
Right.
So shorter, more control, more confidence on the tee. It's not about saying to your buddy, hey, I'm playing one less club than you, but it's knowing that you've got the control over that club and more stopping power than you had before to achieve the same shot.
Let me ask you this, because I'm fascinated by this. You know, as I'm getting older and my swing obviously has changed from when I was 16, 17 years old to my early 40s now, to me, I want to have more approaches where I'm hitting that 8-iron, that 9-iron, that pitching wedge in. And it feels like I can do that now because of this fitting experience, because I'm now going to have the right clubs for the right shots with the right swing.
Yeah, you're going to pull one club less out of the bag no matter where you hit that driver. Essentially, you're going to hit it 12 yards further. Most people think about clubs as 10, but as we get older or get slower in swing speed, those gaps between the clubs actually kind of increase. You might have 12 to 15 yards between clubs. So 12 is right in that sweet spot of one exact club less than where you had before. So like you say, shorter iron in, more confidence, more stopping power, hopefully better golf on the golf course.
I can't wait to prove it to you.
Let's do it.
Thank you, Jack. Thank you, John.
Of course.
Hey Team Worldwide, well, we hope you really enjoyed that fitting experience as much as Evan did. He got fit for T150 and T250 combination. If you want to experience like that, make sure you come and see John Weber here at Roger Dunn, Santa Ana, or book a fitting at any Worldwide Golf location. Head to worldwidegolf.com to book your fitting experience. And we're not done with Evan yet. Check out our next video where we take Evan to a secret location to put his skills and the brand new T-Series irons to the test. If you love what you see, hit that like and subscribe button. We look forward to seeing you there.